the next level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. Welcome back to our featured Business Friday, where we highlight incredible entrepreneurs and community leaders who are using their voice, their gifts, and their experience to make real impact in the world. Today, I'm taking center stage on the Own It magazine and publishing platform with one of our amazing contributing writers, Shantelle Ramirez, the founder of Shanti's Voice. Shantelle is passionate about helping people reconnect with their voices, share their stories, and step into a deeper level of healing and purpose. With a background in healthcare and a heart for serving others, she has seen firsthand how important it is for individuals and families to not only take care of their physical health, but also protect their future and create a sense of security for people they love. Through her writing and the work she's doing, Shantelle is creating space for people to feel seen, heard, and empowered. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in the stage. Woo-hoo! What's going on, Shanti?
Hey, everyone. Hey, Miss Tiffany. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be taking center stage with you today. Oh, my goodness. And just really sharing some of your journeys. So let's get started with the journeys. Just real quick, let everybody know. I know I just shared a little bit, but let everybody know where you're coming from and just a little bit more about what you do out there in the world.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Shanti. So I'm coming to you from ATL by way of the 313, otherwise known as Detroit, Michigan. I have lived the last probably 40, well, I'm 42, but I've lived the last 35 to 40 years of that just not fully living in my 100% power. And it took way too long. And now that I have a kid, well, I have two, but I have a 22 and a 20-year-old. I'm glad that they found their purpose, their voice, they're speaking it, But for me, I'm a little slow. So it took me a little longer, but that was something that I just wanted to empower for myself and definitely value. And so now I'm sharing it.
Awesome. I love it. Sharing our stories is so important because honestly, our stories are not our stories. There are experiences that we need to share with the world because there's other people out there that are suffering and that are going through something similar, but they're stuck. And we've already gotten to the other side of it. I cannot wait to dig into this with you, Shantelle. So let's start with your journey. What inspired you to create Shanti's Voice and begin really just sharing your writing and the message to the world?
So I've always, I think you mentioned it in the intro, I have a mission and a passion for being a voice for anyone that doesn't either they don't know that they have one, or it's been silenced, or for a little time they need someone else to be able to share how they're feeling because they might not even have been able to name it. And I went through, you mentioned about journeys, like in experiences. I had experiences that I had to learn that you would think that, hey, I'm 36, I should know this by now. There was a lot of life lessons I was still learning in my 30s. And going into 40, I'm like, it's time to live my life. Because yes, I'm still learning, but I've come to the part of myself where I am no longer bound down by being anybody's toy,
Mm.
anybody's doormat, or anybody's assumption. I'm me. And it's finally time for me to live that, to show that, to share that, because I had to see others do it. So
Mhm.
I knew it was possible and it was worth it.
Yeah.
And so my mission is being a voice for those who have lost theirs, no matter how temporary. And I have written for most of my life, but I learned a few years ago that a lot of times what we write or what we may write is not for us.
Mhm.
And I've read a lot of things from people, or shoot, let's just bring up my favorite, Maya Angelou.
Yeah, I love her.
Inspirations, empowerment that helped them, but it wasn't just for them. It
Mhm.
was for everyone coming behind them and next to them,
Right.
because there's so many of us, but most of us feel alone.
Mhm.
There's
So
a lot of times that we're going through the same thing, but we're so into ourselves and what's going on with us that we're not even seeing that someone next to us or someone on the other side of the country might be dealing with the same thing. And the good thing about the internet is you're able to reach a lot more people
Mhm.
in a different way than just writing a book, or because sometimes I didn't have this opportunity until now,
Yeah.
you know and I think that that's another thing. This is the journey that I'm on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So one thing I love about the work that you're doing is how it connects voice and it connects healing, right? It connects the shared voice for healing. Why do you believe finding your voice is such an important part of personal growth and overall wellness?
If I could not fully heal, even times when I thought I was healed, I'd gone to therapy or, processed it or whatever I thought, there were times I was still either in denial or lying to myself.
Oh,
And if
wow.
I cannot be honest with myself, there's no way in the world I can fully heal. There will still be a little chip or a little hole that grief or anger or any kind of other emotion that isn't positive and healthy can take advantage. And
Mhm.
I learned that even recently. Um, I was back home. I hadn't been home in Detroit in years, and definitely without my kids, it'd been a while since it was just me. And I realized, again, you don't know sometimes until you truly know, and no time frame dictates when you should know it. You can be 62 and learning that, yeah, it was something that you could have learned a long time ago, but if you didn't experience it, so that's kind of where I am with stuff like that. But I had an almost 30-year resentment, and it kind of goes back to the first where, how did I begin? Um, I could not be me.
Mhm.
And so I had to go back to the person, and that meant going back to a 12-year-old who, you know, had to learn that no matter how much you might plan, life changes. And I had parents where I felt like I didn't feel like I couldn't speak my true, because just from perspective or age or whatever, I didn't feel like I could be my true self with my parents. And then
Mhm.
as I got older, I felt like, or I didn't feel, I was in relationships where it was best and safer not to
Mhm.
be your true self, because you learned it's dangerous, because if they don't like it, you get you learn more about that person,
Right.
especially when what will I say that will trigger that? And
Right.
then you learned either you can be stubborn like me sometimes and be like, okay, I'm gonna egg that, or which I did with the second relationship, which was not healthy at all. But the first one, I just went silent because I felt like it was safer and just keep your head down and do what you gotta do and stay out of the way.
Mm.
Um, and so as I healed, I have so much anger, hurt, resentment, wishful thinking, regrets, anything that isn't, it's time to move forward. It's
Mhm.
time to just let everything go. And just being honest with myself that it's okay if there isn't full closure with this,
Yeah.
because it's time now to move forward, to heal. And until I could be honest with myself of you're still beating the same drum that got you in the same place all those years ago, this is not going to end well because you're just going to continue to go in a circle, and that's insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's step back and do something different, even if that means it's something that isn't fully comfortable for you because you feel like you might be defeating, losing the
Yeah.
battle in a way, you know. And I just felt like, all right, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
If you truly want to heal, we're done. And one of my best friends and brothers had even told me, he said, because I had moved from Kansas to Georgia just a few weeks ago, and he had told me before the move, he said, when you move to Georgia, not even knowing anything that I'm going through or thinking about, everything in the past is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're walking into something, sis, and you gotta just keep walking. Don't look back about what shoulda, coulda, woulda, or why they didn't understand or whatever. It don't matter no more. Leave
Mm-hmm.
it alone and go forward. And that honesty, with the honesty that I was already saying, it's time to go, just leave it alone. That pushed me into a full healing where it's like, it's okay.
That's right.
Because you never know what God's gonna do.
That's right.
You never know what you're changing your mind and saying, okay, fine. I'll feel like I might have been dismissed by someone or whatever, but in their truth, they don't see it. They don't see, so we're not making sense to each other, which is why we're going in circles.
Right. And really,
Yeah,
where do you get there, right? Except continuing to go around in circles. So
exactly. So
I'm
yeah,
glad.
it was definitely move forward, start with healing. And I think that in itself changes everything.
Yeah. No, it does. It's about moving forward, not backwards, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when we continue to think that something is going to change, we have no power over any people. We have power over our own situations, but we don't have the power
Right.
over anybody else and how they deal with the situation. So I just have to say congratulations on moving forward. Because there are people that do stay stuck in their situation, and just from watching you and just you know kind of moving through this with you as well, it's just I see the growth already in a short period of time, so I
Oh,
definitely do commend you.
thank you.
So I
I
know you
appreciate
have
that.
your background in healthcare, which is such a powerful perspective. And how did that experience shape your passion for helping families prepare and protect themselves?
So before I stepped into this space, I worked in nursing. I'm a registered nurse by trade. It's not really a trade, but you know what? It's something that you don't just learn.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it's part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's that I have this passion for other people and helping them any way I can. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I did the floor, when I worked the floor, especially, I saw firsthand how many families were unprepared. They didn't have any wills, any protection, and no structure for what they were facing. And it wasn't because they didn't care, it was just they didn't know that was urgent or how to go about it or if it even mattered. And so that always stuck with me. And so now I'm able to help families and business owners protect what they're building before a crisis ever shows up. And for me, this isn't just business, it's advocacy and it's prevention and it's stewardship. And so I've seen what happens when there's no plan, and I'd rather just be able to help everyone have one.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear so many stories out there about, people that have built these, legacies, right? And they have all these different assets. And when they don't have all their stuff in order, their families aren't taken care of. I mean,
Mhm.
the state gets all the money, right? And attorneys and all these different things, and the
Mhm.
family is left crushed versus left, empowered to be able to move forward. So I really do just love what you're doing out there to educate, families as well as business owners on how to protect themselves. So for
Thank
our
you.
entrepreneurs and the business owners listening, how can having access to this legal support make a difference for them, especially when traditional legal services can feel so expensive and so overwhelming, especially when you're trying to run a business and it's already, you're grasping, right? So,
Facts. And especially, a lot of not just their heart and soul, but their money, and savings is a part of that as well.
mhm.
And so small business has big business problems. We know that, it would be naive to think that just because you're a small business owner, you wouldn't you wouldn't have anything that isn't anything different than a big business owner. And so they might not have the big business resources. And so we give small business, big business, the big business, excuse me, resources on a small business budget. And so that basically just helps them protect their bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think with a lot of the entrepreneurs and small business owners out there, especially like in say the coaching, field, they don't know what they don't know when it comes to being protected. And even
Mhm.
when you're giving guidance, say in personal training, things like that, or you're putting on events and things like that. What if someone gets hurt at one of your events? How do you
Mhm.
handle that, right? I mean, yes, you can get some of the
Exactly.
small insurances and things like that, but then when you get the insurance, now you're stuck with these high deductibles and things that even for small business owners, it's tough, right? It's very, very tough. So,
Right.
um, share just a little bit about, some of the things that they can tap into, some of the small business owners can tap into to be just a little more protected.
Yeah. So for it is a law firm for your business. A low monthly fee gets you a ton of legal services and that you can use for simple and complex issues that your business faces every day. And it will be a plan for you that fits your business. So it's not like a cookie cutter plan. And
Mhm.
so with small business plan from LegalShield, you can get that legal expert that help the expert legal help and support, and you can that you need without having to worry about a huge bill because like I said, it is a monthly fee.
Yeah.
And so you when you sign up and become a member, you're able to speak with a business attorney in as low as 8 hours, and you get help protecting and growing your business. So, attorneys that know what you're doing, how to go about it. You're not getting someone who didn't go to school for it or just graduated or, the legal aid because of the amount of money that you offer or that you have to, hold down for a retainer that usually you have to do for lawyers. And so it just takes that and the money part aspect off the plate because you're not being billed by the hour.
That's the biggest part right there, right?
That's the first thing that everybody will think about. And usually in that situation, that would be the topic. So this is my fee. This is how much it is. And it's not even, how are you? What's going on? How can I help you? Yeah. How can we help unload some of the stress and problems that you're having? And that's what the business plans for small business owners offer.
Y'all got to make sure you are protected. Look, personally and professionally, okay? I'm just saying. So we're going to segue back into, just using your voice. For someone listening today who might feel like they've lost their voice or their sense of direction, what would you say to encourage them right now?
Never give up. Like the simple short of it, never give up. But going further, I am also, I've dealt one of my journeys, or a part of my journey is sobriety. And I have been sober, it'll be 8 years. Wow, March 13th, 2018 was my dry date, or is my dry date. So that was a time that when I needed it, I had that support and help. And I learned something. It's YET, yet, when you're writing. And I love it as a writer because yet changes everything. Like you could be so down and depressed, yet. And so what I learned about YET, you're eligible to. It's not done. You're not done. Your journey isn't over. You're still living, breathing. Everything comes to those who wait. And yes, that can kind of be cheesy, but you also have to continue to work. And that can also feel overwhelming. But how I look at it is I need to be the best person for me. And as long as the best person that I am today is better than I was yesterday, that's a win.
That's right. That's right.
And that's not a low bar either, because I can go downhill quick if I allow myself. But that doesn't, if I go down, it might not be a good thing because there might not be a way for me to come back.
Okay.
So there's no way I can look at anything, especially my life, how it's unfolded. I have a tattoo. It's a butterfly, but it's also a semicolon. And a semicolon, when you're writing, is the author was going to end the sentence and then decided to keep moving.
Yeah.
I was done and was ready to end my sentence at 16.
Wow.
God was saying, yeah, no, you're going to keep moving.
That's right.
And so until you are no longer moving, you still have time. It's not over.
That's right.
It's not the end. And if you go for it and you fall, you didn't fail, because that means you gained experience.
Yes.
Failure is only if we stop, if we allow somebody to keep us silent, if we decide to stay silent because someone kept us silent, but we're no longer in that situation, but we're going to continue to not. I could no longer do that. And bringing it back to health, not even 2 years ago, I was 164 pounds. And for me, that isn't exactly bad. People probably wouldn't have seen that, but I was in a toxic environment with my job. And I had stayed silent and just kept my head down and just tried to keep moving through. And then I said, I'm done. I'm done being silent. It ended with me getting terminated, but that was the best release from toxicity. And not even that happened January 14th of 2025. At the end of 2025, I was 148 pounds.
Wow.
And I wasn't doing much different than I had done before, except I had a better mentality. I was looking and loving myself,
That's right.
telling myself in the mirror, you're eligible too. You're still here. It doesn't matter if you didn't get the bonus or if you are just still here and not doing anything else, you're still here.
That's right.
And if that means I will be a tortoise in learning, once I get to that hair, I will sprint off and I won't stop.
That's right.
But at this moment, I had to gain momentum. And then once I get there, I'm not stopping. But I did have to learn and I did have to love. And I had to give myself so much grace
That's right.
and forgiveness. And it's honestly, I've had a lot of loss in that time too, but I've been able to look at it a lot differently.
Yeah.
And so it didn't fully pull me under, even though I felt like I lost part of me. Excuse me, I gained another part.
That's right. That's right.
And moving out here is kind of a complete circle in itself because of who I'm back around. And in a way, there might have been people we lost, but I gained relationships back that I hadn't had over the last 25 years. And
Yeah.
so nothing might ever look the way this is definitely not how I planned when I was down here, how my life was going to be. I had a different outlook, just like when I was 12. I had a different outlook of how my future was going to be. But then I come to this and I can't be mad at it because I allow myself to have that perspective of, okay, no doesn't mean no always. No means not yet. And if no
Mhm.
means no, there's still an opening for something else.
That's right. That's right.
And so pausing, just staying aligned with you and whoever your higher power is,
Mm-hmm.
and keeping that open because that was how I healed. And that was how my health got better. I'm still working at it. You're kicking my butt with the planks. I'm ready for the next challenge.
We're starting our next challenge on Monday. Okay. So, but Shanti, you said so much right there. And the biggest takeaway there is having that unconditional self love and giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
When you have that unconditional self love, you're willing to do anything you need to do to make sure that you are better and that you were okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that right there, everybody, she gave you the biggest nugget that you need to move forward is having that self love. And second, giving yourself grace. Because guess what? It's not always perfect. It's not always what we wanted it or what we thought it was going to be. It's all in the most high's time. Whoever that most high is for you. For me, it's God, Jesus. It's in God's timing. And I may be like, I want it now. But no, you don't need it now. You need it in due time. So I'm excited just to see what all is about to just happen for you as you are just, commanding the universe to open up and just do the things that it needs to do. So let's talk. So as you continue to grow Shanti's voice and really work, what you're doing, what kind of impact do you hope to make on people's lives in years to come?
The whole point is showing that everyone should be heard. Because my generation, the generation before me, came up with children are meant to be seen and heard.
Mm.
And from personal experience, I didn't always feel that way. From having friends, I know they didn't feel that way. Sometimes I was better, I had a better situation, and my situation wasn't bad at all. That's not to imply anything, but everyone has a story. Everyone is going through something. And so it's showing that. It's just letting it out there, because yet it's also goes in the opposite, it's vice versa. You might think you're all good, your boo-boo don't stink or nothing, yet.
Ooh, ouch.
And when I've had that happen, praise God, that was when I got sober. It's not like I thought I was I was above everything, but it was, I don't got another way to cope. This is how I do it. But guess what? I can't be the mother I needed to be drinking. Even if I didn't drink around them or after they went to sleep, it doesn't matter. If they woke up, they might not have gotten a very emotionally intelligent mother. They probably got the mom that said, "What the F are you doing up? Go back, take your butt back to," it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my children was raised in that situation until I decided for them, I was going to be sober. And as a living amends to them, I would continue being sober. Because when I was drinking, this is who I wanted to be. So what am I needing to drink for? Number one. Number two, God has a sense of humor because I got vertigo like nobody's business. So there ain't no way I want to drink because I get hangovers easy and I don't drink anything. Water gives me a hangover if I drink too much.
Wow.
But God made sure I won't drink again because I don't have to be drunk to be passed out in the bed saying, "Stop, don't make it, it's headache." So, that's how my Heavenly Father keeps me on point, because he's like, "You are now sober, but we're going to give you vertigo." So you have that memory,
right.
And I'm like, if I don't feel dizzy ever again, it will be too soon.
You're so right. He has such a good sense of humor. He really does have a funny sense of humor.
Well, and that's part of what Shanti's voice is. It's life. So if we can't laugh, what's the point? Like, life is too. Heath Ledger is my favorite, one of my favorites, because Jack Nicholson. But why so serious? Like, still gives me chills. And I hear God telling me, "Why so serious, Shanti? Come on. Why are you taking this so serious? Like, seriously, can't I just..." No. Wipe up those tears and get your butt up.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sorry, if nobody has a connection with their higher power like that, everybody's higher power connection is theirs.
Yes.
But you just see, I talk to my Heavenly Father and he talks to me how I understand it.
That's right. That's right.
I am not perfect. I am human. And I know when I'm wrong. He's like, "Guess you learned your lesson now." And I just look up and I'm like, well, I guess I did.
That's right.
Either that or I'll learn it again.
Right.
So
and
it's really just
forward.
It's really just a reminder also that life is too serious not to see the humor in something, not to just laugh, even just to keep you from falling and breaking.
Yes. Yes.
Because we do need to feel, but that doesn't mean we need to stay in that in that part. And that's where I just want everybody to know. And, maybe it'll give you something to laugh at. Maybe it'll give you inspiration. Maybe it'll help you. You'll see my journey, and it'll help you see that it's that's not hard, but that it's doable.
Yeah. Look, and just, it's not hard. It is doable. Okay. You heard it?
It is doable. And you have people walking with you. Because I had people, I was reading, Moon Soul Child was one that I was introduced to her on Facebook, and her writing, actually on Instagram. And she was the first one I found during my divorce that kept me where I'm like, I cannot give up. If I give up, I lose my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time ever, you are going to have to fight. And you are going to have to, so let's go, get taller, let's go, because your talk to yourself is the biggest influencer. So if you're going to talk crap, you're going to keep yourself stuck. That's how I kept myself stuck. Mm-hmm. So once I stopped telling myself crap, just like my big bro that I told you about told me, all of this is done, you move forward. Same thing. It's like, we're done. Yes, it feels nice to ruminate over this every once in a while. That taste just feels so good. But it doesn't mean it's good for you.
That's right.
So I hope that no matter what you see, it speaks to you how you need it to.
Good stuff. Look, y'all got your pens and papers out for this? If you don't, go get your pen and paper and watch the replay. Okay? Seriously. Because this is good stuff. So, Shanti, I am just so excited to have you on the show. I want to thank you so much for just sharing, your knowledge, your wisdom, and your encouragement, and just a little bit about you. What are some final words that you maybe have for our audience before we close up today?
I have two. First is I rise, I heal, I protect what matters, which means me, but it also can mean what matters outside of you. And I never give up. And then the next one is I refuse to quit on myself. My story is still unfolding. So thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And how can everybody get in touch with you if they want to learn a little bit more on how to protect themselves as well as their businesses with the legal services that you can tap them into?
Sure. My email is Shanti's Voice, ShantisVoice @gmail.com. And I'm about to reveal my new website is going to be out hopefully at the end of the month. And so especially if you email me, I'll be able to send that notification out to everyone. So
Awesome. So look for that, everybody. So again, I want to thank you, Shanti, for joining us. And everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I hope that you got some knowledge, some wisdom, some nuggets, because I know I did. Shanti, thank you for being a part of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, the family. And everybody look for Shanti and some of her knowledge and wisdom in the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics section of Own It magazine, as well as Lifestyle and Leisure. If you have not subscribed, definitely subscribe to Own It so you can get some knowledge and wisdom that'll help you to elevate your mind, body, and spirit. I am Coach Tiffany Parra. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Happy Friday. Take care, everybody.